You walked into a T-Mobile store. The rep smiled, told you that you'd get a $200 gift card for switching. You signed the contract, ported your number, paid the activation fee, and then waited, and waited, and waited. And then, T-Mobile told you the promotion never existed. That is not a hypothetical. That is exactly what happened to a California man named Ghrabeti, and he sued T-Mobile over it. And he's not alone. In June 2024, a man named Ghrabeti walked into a T-Mobile store in Menifee, California. He was activating 2 new phone lines, and the store rep told him, verbally, explicitly, that he would receive a $200 gift card for each line. That's $400 total. A significant amount of money. So he switched. He signed up. He waited the 10 weeks T-Mobile said it would take. The cards never came. When he finally got through to a T-Mobile supervisor in September 2024, 3 months later, he was told, and I quote, "No such promotion existed. Let that sink in." The rep at the store promised him $400. The corporate supervisor said it was never real. So in November 2025, Ghrabeti filed a class action lawsuit, Ghrabeti versus T-Mobile USA Inc. in California State Court. T-Mobile immediately moved the case to federal court, which is a classic corporate defense move. The case was assigned to a federal judge in the Central District of California. The lawsuit accused T-Mobile of false advertising, deceptive business practices, and breach of contract, all under California's powerful consumer protection laws. And here's the key thing. This wasn't framed as one bad store rep. The lawsuit alleged a broader uniform policy, meaning this is allegedly happening systematically by design across the country. Now let's talk about how this allegedly happens, because it's not random. There's a structure to it. Inside T-Mobile, retail associates use internal documents called C2 documents, basically internal wikis that spell out every promotion's fine print. But here's the problem. Store reps are under enormous pressure to hit sales quotas, so they'll often tell you the headline, $200 gift card, without walking you through the 20 hidden exclusions buried in the C2 document. What kind of exclusions? Here are the big ones. Number 1. Carrier restrictions. Many promotions only apply if you're switching from specific carriers like AT&T or Verizon. If you're coming from a budget carrier, a prepaid carrier, or even T-Mobile's own subsidiary Metro by T-Mobile, you might be automatically disqualified and never told. Number 2. Plan requirements. The $200 card is almost always tied to T-Mobile's most expensive unlimited plans, like Go 5G Plus. If you picked a cheaper plan, even if the rep said you qualified, the back-end system may auto-reject you. Number 3. Redemption windows. These aren't instant credits. You have to log into a separate portal, upload your old carrier's final bill, and do it within a 30-day window. Miss the window? Claim denied. Number 4. Third-party administrators. T-Mobile outsources the rebate fulfillment to outside vendors. Those vendors can reject claims over tiny technicalities, like your name being slightly abbreviated on your old bill. So by the time you realize something's wrong, you've already signed a 2-year financing agreement on a new phone. You've already ported your number. The switching cost to go back is enormous, and that, critics say, is exactly the point. What makes this particularly alarming is that the $200 gift card issue isn't isolated. When you look at the full legal picture around T-Mobile right now, a very clear pattern emerges. There's the Otto versus T-Mobile lawsuit, a class action filed in New Jersey in 2024, where customers are suing because T-Mobile raised prices on plans it once promised would never increase. T-Mobile called these plans uncontracts, a lifetime price lock guarantee. Then in 2024, they quietly raised rates by $5 per line anyway. Same playbook, make a big promise to get you in the door. Once you're locked in, change the terms. And then there's the competitive lawsuits. AT&T sued T-Mobile in late 2025, claiming that T-Mobile's Easy Switch tool used AI bots to scrape customer data directly from AT&T's systems, basically automating the process of pulling people away from AT&T using their own account information. And Verizon sued T-Mobile in February 2026, calling T-Mobile's savings claims, the ones that say you'll save over $1,000 a year by switching, mathematical fiction. Verizon says T-Mobile compared its promotional rates against Verizon's full non-discounted prices to inflate the savings numbers. 3 separate lawsuits, 3 separate promises under fire, one very consistent narrative.
After T-Mobile moved the Ghrabeti case to federal court, they kept getting extensions to respond. December, January, basically buying time. And then on February 4th, 2026, the plaintiff's legal team filed a voluntary dismissal. But here's what you need to understand about that. The dismissal was without prejudice. That means the case isn't dead. The door is still open. The claims can be refiled. In the class action world, a voluntary dismissal this early, before any real discovery has happened, often signals one of two things. Either a private settlement was reached to make the named plaintiff whole, or the legal team is restructuring to refile something bigger, possibly a nationwide class rather than just California. The consumer complaints haven't stopped. Reddit threads, consumer complaint boards, and the FCC complaint database are still filling up with nearly identical stories to what Ghrabeti described. And here's an interesting detail from consumer accounts. T-Mobile has a social media support team called T-Force. People who get denied through normal channels and then post publicly on Twitter or Reddit frequently report that T-Force will manually apply a bill credit for the full value of the promised gift card. Think about what that means. T-Mobile has the ability to honor these promotions. They just often choose not to, unless you make enough noise publicly. Let's talk about the real financial damage here, because it goes way beyond just the missing $200. If you switched 4 lines expecting $800 in rebates, here's what a denial actually costs you. You lose the $800 in rebates you were promised. You paid $35 per line in activation fees. That's $140 you're never getting back. You're likely on a more expensive premium plan than you needed because the promotion required it, adding $10 to $20 a month extra per line. You may have paid off your old device or taken on new device financing based on the assumption that the rebate was coming. And then there's the hours, sometimes dozens of hours, spent on hold, re-uploading documents, escalating to supervisors, filing FCC complaints. Do the math on all of that, and a family that switched 4 lines expecting $800 could end up in a financial hole of over $1,500 in the first year alone. That's not a misunderstanding. That's a significant economic harm. Here's the bottom line. T-Mobile built one of the most successful brands in American telecom on the promise of being different. No contracts, no games, no surprises. The Un-carrier. But when you stack up the $200 gift card denials, the price lock violations, the AT&T data scraping allegations, and the mathematical fiction savings claims, you start to see a company that may have grown too fast for its own promises to keep up. The Ghrabeti lawsuit may be paused, but the issue isn't, and class action attorneys are watching. If this video helped you, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this information when they need it. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of stories like this. And drop in the comments, did T-Mobile deny your rebate? I want to hear about it. See you in the next one.